Elena Gallo began her career in the real estate industry over 25 years ago. Her profile for experience includes working on large scale residential and commercial transactions from contract through post closing nationwide. You're listening to Closing Market Weekly, the show where real estate closings meet real world insight. With your host, Phillip Hogan. And every week we break down the trends, tools, and the timing that keeps deals moving forward. Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Phillip Hogan, your host to Closing Market Weekly, the CEO to Signing Services of America, and the author to my book, Relentless Excellence, a story of family, business building, and value-driven leadership. Welcome to another episode of Closing Market Weekly. And I have a guest that I just couldn't wait to get her onto the show. And when we get into the show, I'll tell you, you'll learn more about her. But just to give you a little bit of taste of who she is and what she's accomplished, let me read you her bio. And so Elena Gallo is Director of Operations at Fulcrum Title. Elena Gallo began her career in the real estate industry over 25 years ago. Her profile for experience includes working on large-scale residential and commercial transactions from contract through post-closing nationwide. Having superior knowledge of complex matters and strong leadership skills, she is the COO and Director of Operations for Fulcrum Title and Escrow. Elena, welcome to the show.
Hey, Phillip, I'm so happy to be here.
Well, boy, I don't know who's happy, you or I. So, so listen. I don't want to hold the audience in suspense anymore. So, folks, Elena, we have had the pleasure. We, meaning Signing Service America, has had the pleasure of working with Elena for a number of years, and it has been a fantastic opportunity to work with her. We've learned a lot. We truly appreciate her experience and her business and her commitment to excellence. And so, one conversation that I had with Elena, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, she was talking about she's going to, leave her existing company to another company. And like I'm a curious guy. I'm like saying, okay, well, what's going on with the new company? And lo and behold, it's not just a new company for her. It is really a new business that she started. And so I'm just so ecstatic, man, that she went from working for someone to becoming a self-employed person, pro in the industry. And again, Elena, congratulations for that major
Thank
accomplishment.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Absolutely. So listen, we want to talk a little bit about that, right? So you previously worked for another national title company. When was the seed planted that you wanted to own a title company?
So it's always been in my DNA to be an entrepreneur. I just hadn't initiated any of my own business in the title industry.
Yeah.
While I was really good at finding the clients and bringing in the files and working on the files, I never really thought about being a title company owner. I had this great structure in place where, there was a reputable title company behind me. I had all of the support and I could collaborate with a team, working on all of my national files. And one day, right around the turn of the year, I was sitting with one of my now partners, and we just started having a discussion about how much we have grown professionally and all of the business that we were creating and where our personal strengths were and our aspirations. And we knew that unless we just took a shot and went out on our own, we probably wouldn't grow much more than we already had. We were sort of plateauing in our, real estate title, careers. And so that's when we started to really think about it. It was a new idea for 2026. And we didn't really start working on it. We kind of just had this little bit of, a hope, a little seed starter in the back of our head. And we were busy, but the market was also changing. Interest rates were still significantly over the rates that we had seen in the last, couple of years. And was it a good time for us to just take this new step? Could we secure enough business? Where is the market going? And right around like April, we decided we have to do this. We are going to do this.
Uh-huh.
And the worst that could happen is we just need to go get a job. And we're certainly marketable and
I
it'll
love
be
it.
okay.
I love it.
But so it was a little scary.
Uh-huh.
It was a little difficult for us to pull the trigger on this whole venture,
Uh-huh.
but we did it.
Uh-huh.
And we are officially in business for a month and a half. And
Congratulations.
yeah, and like we're rocking it. We're busy, we're
Wait,
running
wait, hold on,
smoothly.
hold on, lady. I'm sorry. Hold
Yeah,
on. Did you hear what she said? We are rocking it. She didn't say
I
we.
did.
She didn't say we rocking it. She said we are rocking it, right? With that emphasis, I
Yeah.
love it. Go, Coy. Yes.
Yeah, I'm so proud of, our whole team.
Uh-huh.
They put a lot of faith in us to
Uh-huh.
get this up and running
Yeah.
and to get their first month of deals closed and we did it. Of course, we had a few bumps in the road. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we were still figuring things out,
Mm-hmm.
but the benefit that we had is, one of my partners had a very small title agency in
Mm-hmm.
Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
So, he knew sort of how to set it up.
Mm-hmm.
But, in my prior role, we were backed by a national company where,
Mm-hmm.
they had all the operations in
Right.
place.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to learn tremendously in my past role
Mm-hmm.
about what it takes to run a company, run a title company.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had a lot of strong guidance and
Right.
support from our underwriters at Fidelity. Like they were instrumental in helping get our business up and running and answer questions that we had on, the very specifics of getting set up. But collectively, my partners and I have over 50 years of experience in the industry. And so we're a really strong team.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
We have, one of the largest SBA lenders in the US
Mm.
who, is one of our founding members. And you have me, who already, had the years of experience working at a national level in a title company. And so all of that put together is, our dream team.
And it's a fantastic dream team. And I just want to reiterate something that you said earlier, and not to minimize, is that you talked among your founding members, and you said, "Listen, let's just take our shot," right? And as a person who's transitioning from, and this is for the audience, as a person who's transitioning from a employee to becoming self-employed, the one thing that often prevents someone from crossing over is, what is it, that term, take the shot, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go for it, right?
Right.
And you hope that you obviously there's a lot of preparations involved, right? But ultimately, the final step before you cross over that bridge is you got to be willing to mentally take the shot, right? Physically, yeah, but mentally you got to be able to buy in and say, okay, boom, I've got what it takes to go for it. I've done it, and I've been in business for 10 years. So Close the Market Weekly is celebrating its 46th episode. And there's other self-employment ventures that I've gotten into that have been very successful, but it all depended upon one thing: take the shot. And if you don't, you'll never know. And that could be a life of regret. But look
So
at you.
true.
You know what I mean? And so I've got a few more questions that my audience would like for you to answer. Would you please walk us through what operations actually means at a title company? Most people outside the industry don't realize how much is happening behind the scenes before a closing table is even set. What does your day actually look like?
So my day starts, I go to the gym early or I play tennis early. I'm at the office by 8:30 and everything's already buzzing. We're answering phones, we're responding to hundreds of emails, we're welcoming people into the office for their closings. We're hoping that, there's not going to be any hiccups in the day, but I'm spread pretty thin throughout the day, just, monitoring everything that's going on, our back office, making sure title searches are coming in a timely manner, making sure our clients feel comfortable with, our fee structure, putting together the closing packages, working with lenders to balance the files, dealing with title clearance and making sure that there's nothing pending on title when we get to the closing table. We are getting final water bills, transfer tax stamps. I mean, you name it. There's no less than 9 or 10 people working collectively on the files. And we're also coordinating with 2 sets of attorneys in Illinois. Illinois is an attorney state, so I have buyer side, seller side, in addition to the lenders and the parties and all of the, back office people. So it's a game of management and managing efficiently. And it's also a really big game of due diligence and double and triple checking everything. Like we are subject to hackers. We are dealing with potential fraud schemes where those things are always on the forefront. Just because the title looks clear, we still have to go through the entire search package and make sure that the abstractors didn't miss anything. I mean, and none of this happens sequentially in my day. This is jumping around wherever I'm needed. I can start out smoothly and think I'm going to get through emails and then go to the next tasks, but no.
It doesn't work that way, and I'm so happy that you answered those questions. First of all, thank you for answering the question. But the other side of it is many people have no idea exactly as to what your day and that of others who work in the roles that you do actually looks like. And so on the, the signing agent side, we're constantly, having to, where are my documents? Where are my documents? How come the documents are late? And the schedules in my company are constantly telling them, hey, listen, you know what? There are a number of phases that need to be complete and approved before those documents can be released. And, the signing agent thinks that, okay, well, you sent us the order, I've confirmed. And so, suddenly the documents disappear, but they don't. And that's why I have this show and you as a guest to come on to talk about what is it inside the title company. And hopefully that'll help answer some of the questions and the confusion that many people may have in terms of what goes on within a closing department of a title company. So I have another question for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see the biggest breakdowns in communication between title companies, lenders, and signing agents? And what does Fulcrum do differently to close those gaps?
So the biggest challenge that we face is we schedule the closing. The loan is cleared to close. The title company is then relying on the lender to send us their pre-closing package with all of their figures. We then have to collaborate with the lender and, make sure we're balanced. If things change along the, in between that time, we're then revising those figures. The lender has a lot going on behind the scenes too, because they disclose one set of fees to get the clear to close for the client or the borrower. And then if we make changes, then the lender's going back to underwriting and saying, hey, does this create a red flag or is this okay? And so we're causing each other delays rather than just to be able to do this one time. It's not as simple as it seems. Exchange the figures and generate a package. There's, if the lender has 10 closings that day and I'm waiting on packages, they're going to get to it in the order that they can. And so then I'm waiting for the package and you're waiting the package from me. It's this chain, this domino effect that if one of us is delayed, it's delaying everyone else in the transaction.
Time out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Another key phrase you said, it's a domino effect, right? in that when one change happens, it affects everything else in that chain, right? And the other thing is it's a chain reaction, where you get to it when the time comes up. You just don't jump around. My closing's over here in Nevada, but yet another closing is in South Carolina or Florida. It's like, well, just because you have a closing, that doesn't mean that the title company is synchronized to your schedule, right? And so we're at the mercy of the lenders, and being able to balance with title company.
Yeah.
And so thank you for explaining that. And again, my audience consists a lot of people who work within the settlement side of the transaction. And, we want to serve as educating individuals what goes on. So, hopefully they'll be a little bit more patient and understanding, because
that's the key.
Yeah, because they're hearing it from a pro who's been in the industry for 25 years. Not only that, who was once an employee and now owns her own company. She broke out, y'all. she did. I'm going for my own, and I love it. Okay, I got another question. You ready?
Yes.
All right, let's see here. Technology is reshaping title operations fast. From Ron to AI assisted title searches. What's working? What's overhyped? And what keeps you up at night?
What's working? So we use Qualia. Qualia is an incredible platform for title and escrow companies.
Yeah.
There are so many features built in where you have these integrations with your shipping companies, ordering your searches. It's a one-stop shop for everything title needs.
Yeah.
And they recently launched this AI feature that has given us the ability to open a file in minutes versus 15 or 20 minutes that it used to take us to type it manually. We can upload our new contract, and literally this AI bot will pull all the information from the contract, set up your entire file, import all the data from the contract that's relevant to our needs, all the contact information. It sends out greeting letters, welcome letters, fee sheets. It collects information from the seller so we can automatically start working on getting their payoff letters. I mean, all of these great features that are built into the platform make my life so much easier. And it also eliminates the need for having, an additional person to open a file. And I think that's what's working. All of the constant improvements in our platform that Qualia is giving to us is just tremendous.
And so we're familiar with Qualia on the signing services side. And what I'm hearing is that Qualia has become human-powered AI.
Yes. And you can even ask it to review a title search package. You open up your file, you type, your request to this little chat bot, and it will give you a very succinct list within 20 or 30 seconds of all of the items needed for title clearance. Of course, you're still double checking everything.
Right.
That's absolutely mandatory, but it's pretty accurate. And I did an experiment. I uploaded a search into Claude, and I uploaded a search into ChatGPT to see if the capabilities were similar to what Qualia was, providing. And although the format came out different, and some of the additional questions that I got from, Claude or ChatGPT, so that they could prepare the report in the way that I wanted to see it. But other than that, the content that they pulled and provided to us was pretty spot on. So, you have all of these very sophisticated, computerized
programs.
Of eliminating the need for I don't want to say eliminate, but reducing the number of people that you need to work on the files.
It's really, another way that we're looking at it, and we're also into the AI thing, and so we're realizing that we can reallocate time back to our staff.
Mhm.
And at one point, many years ago, there was a lot of manual operations that were being done because that's just where we were as a industry. But now the technology has so like involved, we're leaning and we're borrowing and we're utilizing what technology can do, not to replace people, but to make us more efficient, and to
Yes,
maximize how much we can get done in a day's time and not burn out your people, right?
true.
And so that's great. So now, is there anything that keeps you up at night? You talked about what?
Fraud,
Yeah,
wire fraud.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that is our single most
yeah,
um, concern, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Fraud.
Yeah, my last, let me see, 2 weeks ago, 2 episodes ago, we had a Rodney Anderson, who is a state representative from Texas, three-time state representative from Texas, on the show. He's also he works in Texas. He works within the title company, title industry, and he is also a proponent about fraud. And his call to action is just that he wants title agents and those that work on the title side to just open your eyes, you know, and check your emails, and make sure you have clear wiring instructions, and make sure that your information is tight. And we just can't overemphasize that, because the fraudsters are, they're up 24/7, trying to
Yes.
create ways to cause havoc in people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the very unfortunate experience of, witnessing some wire fraud, in my last position, a borrower, and this just blew my mind. The buyer was an employee of one of the very large banks. I won't say which.
Hmm.
And the buyer's email somehow got hacked. They impersonated someone at a title company.
Mm.
And the email they used was like closingagency@gmail.com.
Hmm.
Okay, that's not a professional email, but
Right.
anyway, this buyer in the email, they requested that this buyer wire his closing funds, and the closing hadn't even been scheduled yet,
Hmm.
to like this account, and the account was titled to Rhonda Smith,
Mm.
and it was not a title company account, it was an individual.
Hmm.
But they somehow embedded the logo of the company into those instructions, and the buyer took them to his bank where he worked and
Hmm.
also
Hmm.
maintained his accounts. And that bank sent the wire to Rhonda Smith
Mm.
for his closing.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, like, no one called to verify.
Hmm.
Nobody even questioned closing agent at Gmail. Nobody questioned, why is it going to Rhonda Smith instead of XYZ title?
Hmm.
And so the due diligence has to be not only on our part, like
Hmm.
we're scouring everything, emails, wire instructions, we're validating them in a portal, we're verbally validating information,
Hmm.
we're using Qualia Shield, we're using certified ID, or safe validation. I mean, we have so many methods to confirm wire information
Hmm.
or identities. And this person never, like, the money was gone.
And
It
once
was
it
just
goes, it's
gone.
gone. It's gone.
Yeah. And by the time it's gone,
It's too late.
it's
There's
too
nothing you
late.
can do. There's nothing you can
Right.
do.
You can report it. The banks can try and,
Mm.
uh, get it returned, but no, I
The
mean,
likelihood of it getting returned is slim to none.
so slim. And
Yeah.
so if I can stress one thing to the consumers
Hmm.
and to all of the people working behind the scenes to make that closing happen,
Hmm.
always double check
Hmm.
everything that has to do with the money
And
part of
don't
the
be and don't
transaction.
and to add that, before we move on to our next question, is that double check, and if you doubt, ask a question. And,
Mhm.
ask a question from an authorized individual who can give you the correct answer. And until you get the
Yes.
answer, don't do anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's better to wait and, maybe be penalized, unfortunately, because you delayed the process, but keep on your money opposed to sending it and you're uncertain and then it falls into the deep blue hole and God knows where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people are already so stressed out because
Yes.
moving is one of the most stressful things,
Yes.
ever. And of
Yeah.
course, it's a huge purchase.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just, you don't, you're working like a robot to get to the closing table. And you just have to take that step and breathe for a second and make sure everything checks out.
Everything. Everything.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. So my final question before we let you go, because we know you have a busy day, and thank you again for spending some time with us. So when the closing goes sideways at the last minute, what separates a title operation that handles it with grace from one that falls apart?
I think the biggest thing is just keeping your composure,
Yeah.
and you have to be a little empathetic to the parties who are experiencing the issue. It's not only their issue, it's our issue.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear them out and you try and understand what they need from you to feel better, and
Mm-hmm.
manage their emotions. And also I have to start thinking about what are the steps am I going to take to resolve the situation for them. If
Mm-hmm.
it's something simple like I need to have a deed corrected, or they think it's a very big deal at the closing table
Mm-hmm.
because, oh my goodness, there's a mistake in my conveyance document. But
Mm-hmm.
I can just walk, in to the office next door to me, and the attorneys are there, and have them, print a new deed, and it gets signed. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's what seems like a really big problem to someone at the closing table might not be such a big problem for me to fix.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, be human, understand what the situation is. And if there really is a big problem, like, whoa, we didn't get a payoff letter, then we scramble and we get that payoff letter and do whatever we can to get it before the end of the day so that they can still close.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of responsibility that falls on our shoulders. When there's a problem, it means I didn't catch something before the closing started, or an issue occurred during the closing, or was, something was wrong with the lender docs or anything like that. We can get it corrected. Just takes a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just give them reassurance that
Mm-hmm.
we'll take care of it, and it's not going to disrupt, their closing.
Yeah, I agree with you. The reassurance, is so important when you're doing a service that involves, clients of this nature. And, that goes a long way. Mix ups, geeks, oops,
Happens.
sorry, it happens, right?
Hmm.
But, as long as people know, and I find it out in the 10 years that I've been in business, right? As long as my client knows, okay, you know what, SSA, you're taking accountability for it. You've got a plan to correct it and you're committed to getting it corrected, then they're comfortable, they're okay with that, and then they stand by and wait for the corrections to be done, and then they're notified, right? What really
Right.
makes matters, what amplifies the situation is then when people just disappear, right? Don't start
Right.
returning phone calls, no, I'm sending emails, wait a minute, nobody's replying, what's happening here? And so but I'm confident, Elena, that the clients that you have amassed with Fulcrum Title are extremely satisfied with you, your team, and the work that you all do. I and everyone over at Signing Service America is so happy for you, and we're just delighted to see you bridge, to see you move on with your life professionally and the industry that really wants you, and you want it. So if someone wants to contact you, please share with us how they can contact you.
I am the point of contact for all new contracts. So you
Okay.
can email me
Uh-huh.
at Elena at fulcrumtitle.com.
So please spell your first name.
ELENA.
at fulcrumtitle.com.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, folks, there you got it. We got another show that's in the wraps, man, and it's been a great one. Elena Gallo from Fulcrum Title, who is the Director of Operations and the Chief COO of her new company, is our guest. And we're so happy for her. We're so happy for your team. And, if you're listening, thank you for joining us. And, share our content with someone who you think might be able to benefit from it as well. Elena, thank you once again. And we'll be seeing you real soon.
Thank you, Phillip. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Closing Market Weekly. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone in the industry. For more insights from the front lines of real estate closings, we'll see you next week.